All right, PKN episode 164. You guys were excited about Rob Weinstein? Is that his name?
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein. It seems
yeah.
like Kyle knows a good bit about the
Yeah,
guy.
well-
All I know is that he, I see Weinstein Company or whatever on
Yeah,
a lot of
man.
movies.
Yeah, he's a super liberal guy, and I've heard his interviews on Stern and stuff, really anti-gun, and really close to all of the powerful liberals. So he was really close to the Clintons, and I saw Hillary Clinton come out against him today, and I just imagine like in private, of course, like Bill Clinton just coming in, it's like, up until now, you've been an amateur in the woman raping business. We all wanted to see if you wanted to step up to the pros.
From what I can tell, this guy's already in the pros.
Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie. He's assaulted them all, and they're all coming forward. It's good stuff, and he's weird with his assaults, right? Because like I feel like if I was in power and I was a dirty old man, I'd maybe, I don't know, you do this for me, and I could hook this up for you, that sort of thing. But he's more like the kind who like just stand there and watch. Just stand there and watch while I ejaculate in this potted plant. No. Don't look at me in the eye. Like he's
that was a real thing, right? Like pissing in a potted plant or jacking off into it or something like that.
At a restaurant or something, like in a public place, he like blocks the lady's path and like pulls his dick out. And she's like, and he's like, just stand there. And he like jerks off into the plant.
If you ever want to be in another Hunger Games movie, you'll watch, God damn it.
So you're saying if you were a rapist, you'd be more of a vanilla rapist, right? Just stick to the basics.
Well, I think I would. It seemed like he was really settling for small beans. It seems like you get the same hate and the same punishment either way. They're calling it sexual assault, and I've heard rape thrown out there a few times. Although I haven't heard about any penetration, it just sounds like he's just really dirty and creepy. Everybody's saying that like he pulls it out and makes them look at it, and
I heard some like voicemail kind of thing where he was talking to this Mexican or Hispanic lady and kept saying like, "Oh, you got to come up. You got to come up to my room." And she's like, "I'm really not comfortable with this. I'd rather not." And he's like, "Oh, you got to. I promise I won't do anything this time. Just come on."
Because I guess he had touched her boob in a previous encour.
Yeah, and he admitted it on the voicemail. She's like, "I didn't really like that when you grabbed my breast." And he's like, "I won't do it again, probably."
He didn't say
No, not probably. But like,
creep.
Really a creep.
And now everyone's disassociating themselves from him, and I guess he's done with. I mixed him up with Roman Polanski when I first heard about it, because he was like the other Hollywood rapist type dude.
he's a pedophile,
And,
though, right?
and Woody Allen.
Was he?
There's another one.
It seems like you just can't use your position of power to get laid like you used to.
All right, so there's a big difference, though. Roman Polanski, if I remember correctly, so Roman Polanski was a pedophile. I'm pretty sure about that. That's just kind of burnt into my head. Woody Allen, on the other hand, the only impropriety that I ever heard about him was that, he married his adopted daughter, who was like 35, 40 years younger than him or something, roughly. That's not that bad, because like we could all envision that going down. Like we could see how that would happen. You're a much, much older man. This girl's been living in your house. You never saw her as a daughter, regardless of what the law said. And, you were attracted to her for many years, but you waited. Until she ripened on the vine. And then you had yourself a little fruit cocktail, a little Asian fruit cocktail.
Strong point, Kyle. Really, that's how this should be done, right? I mean, you should pick your underage prey, wait for them to ripen, and then go get in there.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like if this was a Romeo and Juliet play or a Shakespearean play, we'd be like, yeah, well, that's just how it was done. I'm not saying you go to the elementary school and you pick yourself out a good one and put her on layaway.
But he's not
18.
saying you don't.
I'm just saying that if you're already in that situation where she's around and these feelings are just there.
I think I get it.
Dude, there are so
you don't go to
many
the
other
elementary
younger
school
girls.
and pick out a kid that you want to fuck. There's some right in your own house.
If that be
just
the
wait
case,
until
then
they get older, and you're all set.
definitely wait, or you'll be a Harvey Weinstein, Roman Polanski type character, and you'll be infamous rather than famous. Woody Allen's a funny guy
Woody
too.
Allen is infamous for that. Like everybody thinks of him as a creep, because dude, if you're as famous as him, you could easily find a young, attractive woman who's not like an adopted stepdaughter kind of thing, you know?
I think you're really overestimating the power and charisma of a Woody Allen. Like,
I don't know. He's
like,
rich.
I mean,
he's famous.
yeah, but he's not. Look, have you looked at that guy? Like,
Not closely.
He's better looking than that Sterling dude.
Yeah, but Donald Sterling was
Donald
so
Sterling's like
old, and he
75,
didn't
80.
get accused of like harassment or anything. He just got accused of like tactless Instagram use. Like,
I like Bill Burr's take on that. He's like, you can fuck him. Just don't take pictures with him. It's like I feel like he's being awfully fair here. like you can
Yeah.
fuck him. Just don't be on Instagram with him. It really wasn't. I didn't think the Donald Sterling thing was that bad at all. Did he even say the N word?
I don't know.
I don't
don't
think
remember,
Donald
but,
Sterling even dropped an N bomb. You know?
This Weinstein thing, like some people are coming out against it now, but a lot of people are not. Like they're not distancing themselves from him yet because they're still Hollywood actors. Like apparently, like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and they, pardon me, reached out to a bunch of people earlier today to be like, hey, what do you say about this? You know, it's kind of come out that this is an open secret in Hollywood, you know, so you guys have all known about this purportedly, and people didn't, none of them had any comment or said
of course
anything.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
You always hear about that. Like, what's the guy who played Frodo?
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Elijah Wood like came out and was talking about all the pedophilia that goes on with the in Hollywood and how he was a victim and how and Corey
Corey Feldman and
Corey
Corey
Feldman?
Haines, I think.
Yeah, they were both talking about how they were victims of it as well. I feel like I like to see that because that
Macaulay
group
Culkin,
is,
I think.
you know,
Or
they're,
maybe not him.
I don't
but
know
a
about
lot
him.
of-
Nobody wanted to fuck him. But look, if somebody
When-
fucked him while
young
he was
Macaulay
cute,
Culkin,
he
yeah.
lucked out. All right, he should, if he could have gotten his fucking in during that like 5-year period where he was good looking, you know, 10, you know, like 8 to 13 or
Prepubescent.
whatever.
Yeah.
He gets all his fucking in between 8 and 13.
That motherfucker hit puberty and soured. He soured.
Maybe so.
He turned into
But I think didn't he fuck who's the really hot chick?
yes,
Mia.
yes, he did.
Mila
Mia
Kunis?
Kunis.
Mia Cum. Yeah, I'm terrible with
Yeah.
her name. But yeah, they went out for a while, and it's like, dude, that's quite the trophy for your. You know, that notch on the bud post should be double width.
Yeah.
That makes me think that like there's something wrong with Mia Kunis though. Like what the fuck was she thinking?
Who is,
Like-
is
like-
she
like-
married?
Loves Home Alone.
Who's she with now?
I don't know.
Ashton Kutcher, right?
Is that what it is? Yeah, I had her
I
with
have no
Timberlake,
idea.
but he married Jessica Biel, I think.
I'm not good with celebrity relationships. I put very little time into keeping up
Yeah,
with them.
it's like a big.
I've exhausted my
incestuous
knowledge.
Hollywood's a lot like high school. There's a lot of incestuous relationships. Oh yeah, we all fucked that one, and I feel like if you get one good STD into that group, that you take them all down. The same's true with the Catholic priests. It just one STD away from taking the whole thing down. All of a sudden, the Pope got a little itch.
I read something that said that, or I mean, it's a New York Times reporter, and who knows if it's like a gossipy kind of one, but who said that Matt Damon and Russell Crowe helped to hide a burgeoning story about Weinstein's harassment all the way back in 2004.
I can believe
And so that would
sure.
be probably not great for their careers, the two of them, if it is solidified as a fact that they did what they could to make sure that story didn't come out.
You send Russell Crowe in as the muscle. He goes in there, beats up whoever's talking. I was just watching Master and Commander with him, or Master and Commander, where it's
pirate
during the
one?
Napoleonic.
Mhm.
It's during the
boat battle,
Napoleonic
yeah.
period and the boat battles. Yeah. Excellent movie, and just by like the way they talk, I'm sitting there like Googling the words sometimes because like they're using the correct vocabulary and they're doing all the ship talk and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what that part really is. And they use some word for something that makes pus. Like the doctor gets shot and the ball takes a chunk of his shirt inside of him, and
You got pus belly.
well, you know, he used like a scientific word that's
The
just
Pus
not
Production
used.
Factory.
Yeah, and that's a really good fucking movie. If you've never seen Master and Commander, That's Rob Reiner. That's Harvey Weinstein's muscle right there. He keeps those rape accusations knocked down.
Is that a Harvey Weinstein movie? What are some of his movies? I need to look and see.
Master and Commander was fun.
It's very good.
It's an older movie. I remember when it came out on video or something. We had just gotten like a good surround sound system in our house in Apex. And my wife went to go visit family, so I had no limits on how loud I could watch this movie. And there's like cannonballs going from speaker to speaker, like zinging behind me. And I was really excited. It was cool.
It's a really loud movie. I was watching it earlier, and I kept having it's one of those movies where you turn it up when there's dialogue. There's quiet dialogue, and then you're like, oh shit, the battle's coming. Like go from 30 to 15. Because this is about to get nuts.
You're right. Yeah, I know sound engineers really like that dynamic. You know, the loud parts, the quiet parts. Like this should puncture, it should blast. As a listener, though, it's like, God, like your movie might not even be the center of my attention while I watch it. Can you just go a little more even toned?
Do you remember Interstellar? How poor the sound mixing is in that? It's really bad. There's so many scenes like there's that scene at the end when his daughter's on her deathbed way in the future, and you can't really understand what the fuck she's saying, and it's crucial, right? Like it's like this is all built up to this, and he's like, I was always there in the bookcase, and she's like, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I do remember
that. I sat through 2.5 hours of this shit.
Do you know what she says?
I always knew you were there or something. I don't remember it wasn't like Rosebud or anything. It's not like oh my god, like blow you out of the water kind of thing. But like I turned the subtitles on and everything at this point in my life. So I really like that the subtitles being on because
I don't get that at all.
I do it on YouTube.
Man.
It's gotten good.
Yeah, YouTube subtitles work.
They changed the font and it's much smaller now and it's a little more subtle. So it's just there for you to peek at, as opposed to before where it kind of took away from the video.
Yeah,
now it's nice.
That's how I feel about doing subtitles on any English movie, like on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. Like I can't keep myself from fixating on the text. Like it distracts me from what's going on in the movie. Like I don't like it.
Here's the thing. Just put it out there, discard it like we did if you want. But apparently, households with the subtitles on, the children are better readers.
I mean, that does make sense. I don't have any children. And I'm already a pretty solid reader.
You're just boasting at this point.
I've been reading for years. I've got it down pat.
He's 25, but he reads on a 27-year-old level.
Yeah.
I love those times in school when I remember specifically it was Oedipus. We were reading Oedipus, and each kid would read like a paragraph of this shit, and then like it just went down the rows. Like you knew when it was coming to you. Mm-hmm. And
count down the paragraphs, see if you have a long one or not.
Yeah, oh shit, I got a whole page here. All right, let me skim this really quick. This is Oedipus Rex. It's not exactly, like simple reading, and just you'd always know when that smelly kid when it got to him. You're like, oh, here we go, and then Oedipus, really? You just heard 18 people say Oedipus correctly, and we get to you. Come on. What are you doing over there, Stinky? I always
there's like a vicious cycle with those kids with reading. Like you can notice it, where like that same kid in like second grade or whatever wasn't confident in their reading and they sucked at it. And so then in third grade and fourth grade and fifth grade, they just dread being called on to read, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, Yeah. Like so much of being able to read well, like I hated reading when I was in first grade. I hated it. Like I used to just memorize the little storybooks that they would give us and then just recite them from memory because I wanted to be able to go play with blocks, and I couldn't go play with blocks until I'd read the book. Until eventually one day I accidentally recited a book about like a guy on a bike or whatever, and it was the wrong book. And she's like, "Taylor, you're not reading. You're just saying what the book says." And I'm like, oh fuck. Well, I am only 7, and I should have seen that this strategy would not pan out in the long run. But then they sent me to a class to like make me focus on my reading, and within like 2 months, I was reading just fine because I was alongside a bunch of people with genuine problems reading, And I was like, dude, I'm fucking killing it in here. I was getting Jolly Ranchers left and right. What's this sound, Taylor? It's a long O. How do you know? There's an E, the letter after it. The fucking candy me. Like that. And then they kicked me out of that class because they said, you just are here for candy now.
Poor little stinky kid over there with just stormy clouds all over his board.
I know, right?
Fucking
stormy clouds. That was back when they gave you demerit
Taylor's
stickers.
throwing rappers at him.
Yeah, it's like a goddamn monsoon over there, Octavius. What happened?
Oh, I can't finish all my Starburst from the day. You want one?
Strawberry. Who wants the strawberry? Did you guys ever do this thing called Relay for Life?
No.
I don't think so.
All right, so we did this reading program in elementary school where if you we had a big track at the school, not an actual cool one. They just measured off how far you had to run up and down the driveway of the school to make a mile. And like 1 mile was like maybe 4 points. I don't remember the exact scoring system, but there was a length of distance that you would run, and they'd give you a fucking straw. And then when you got done with the running outside, they'd count your straws up, and they'd put lines next to your name on this massive board. Or you could read a fucking book, and each book had a number of straws that corresponded to it. And the way they would tell if you actually read the book is we had this whole computerized system where you'd go read the book, and then you take a test on the book really quick, like on the computer. And as long as you got like an 80 on the test, boom, you get 8 points. And so I hated running. I hated it. So I would get the thickest books every time. I wouldn't care what the book was about. I'd find the biggest books, the ones that were worth 12 or 14 points, because that's like 3 days worth of running. And I'd read through that fucking thing, and I feel like that's definitely why I was able to read better than most people in elementary school, and that was a wonderful program because
your hate for running.
Was running.
Yeah,
the alternative was running, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes that.
That's
at
a
all.
great idea to get kids better at reading, because I know I would have, if they were like, hey, you don't have to run the mile today if you read 2 books by next week. Like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I'll read 2 short little books. I don't want to run.
And I don't remember what we got in exchange for like points, but it was something good. There was parties. That's what it was. When you had enough
pizza parties.
Cool parties where they would like, I remember, this might sound lame, but they made homemade applesauce, and I still think about how tasty that homemade applesauce was. It had like a brown sugar crust on top. She made it like a crock pot, and she was scooping it out in these little Dixie cups, and I was like, can I get an no? 1 Dixie cup for 18 miles? Are you fucking shitting me? So like you couldn't get into any of the parties if you didn't have the points. And you know, even if you're in a wheelchair, because one of the girls was, you know, read through the books, you'd have plenty of points. Or you could be like Chad and just fucking running all the time, just running up a couple miles a day every day like a maniac out there. That guy probably still can't fucking read. That guy still can't fucking.
But he's got great cardio. Probably a heart healthy.
Yeah, that was a good program. And I think it was for charity of some kind. Like, it seemed like kids with cancer got something based on how many fucking laps and books we read, which I don't know who's financing that shit. But
I've always thought that method of charitable giving was kind of bullshit. Like, hey, I'm going to walk around the block 6 times today. Will you donate $1 for every lap I do? Or like, hey, can you donate 50 cents for every bowling pin I knock down this afternoon? And at some point, it's just like, the fuck? Like, here's $5. Don't come back. You know?
I'll donate $1 for every bag of leaves you bag up in my backyard. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? We'll cure cancer in a week over here. It's fall.
It's just, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm out here raising money for charity. No, really, you're begging and performing stunts, and it's just an odd combination to me. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Especially the ones where it's like per lap or per mile, and you're basically like inviting people to come watch you at an event under the guise of genuine charitable giving, where it's like, even if you run 10 miles and you've got 10 donors, you know, what, did you raise $500? Like, woo, wow. But really what you got was $500 worth of attention running around, you know, and putting on your Instagram and your Tinder. Oh, I need to go do that for my Tinder. Go pretend to care about some charity and just sign up for it. pour some water on myself and stand somewhere where you can't see, and then I'll just go home.
Or people who do stunts
You need pictures of
under
kids.
the guise that it's a noble thing. Like I've got one in my head. There's a paramotorist, and she was, I guess, flying her paramotor across Russia, which east to west is really far. It's a big trip.
Real
And
big.
she claims she's doing this to like monitor swans and figure out why they are or aren't flying or whatever. And it's like, motherfucker, like you're getting people to give you money as if you could watch them better from your paramotor. It's a terrible like craft to do this job. You know, you could
You think
follow
you
them in
can
a
keep up with
car.
a swan up there? Like, no, just have a drone up there if you really give a shit. But then
A drone or a car or a regular plane or like a little radio
satellite.
ID tag on their leg. Like there's a lot better ways to do this than to
Yeah.
putt around in your fucking paramotor. I love paramotors, but let's not pretend they're useful.
I want to
Listen
go
to-
research orcas, so I'm gonna go ice skate across glaciers and hope I find one. It's like, no, just
Yeah,
you're just looking for money and attention.
exactly.
You mentioned
No,
Tinder and like beefing up your Tinder pictures. You need some pictures of some sick kids, man. You need to go to like you need to get some fucked up kids. Go to like the cancer ward or something. Bunch of bald kids, preferably like leukemia and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, you
I
want
wish
to
I had
be
pen
like
and paper.
get them together in a group. Get them together in a group. And I feel like you want to be like you know you want to be the mentor. You want to add mentoring to your bio like
Hey,
like
Taylor,
that.
hear me out. I think you should go to a graveyard, right? Just to show that you've been doing this for a while. You know?
Show up, just show up at a kid's funeral.
Oh,
I'll be on the other side of the telephoto. Get you with the grieving parents and stuff. Maybe like throwing a rose down in a child casket.
Not me. I'll be there up close with one of those stabilizers pivoting around you. You can shed a tear.
Could you bounce a little more light off of Taylor's? Yeah, on the left side. Yeah. Oh, you're looking good.
So
Mom,
Taylor-
Dad, right here, not in the lens. Fucking ass.
You backed off the Tinder thing for real though, Taylor? Like it seemed like you took less of an interest in Tinder when it came up last PKA. Like you're like, yeah, you know,
oh, I mean, it's going like about the same. Like I kind of slowed down for a couple weeks with it just because I was busy with other stuff. But that's kind of the nice thing about it is I hopped on the other day and it was like, oh, a new crop of girls. Let's sift through some of these. And of course, as with most of them, it's like, no, ooh, no.
So
no. Oh yeah,
this
yeah,
ties into
definitely,
my
definitely,
question.
definitely.
I don't understand why guys swipe right on everybody. Like, it doesn't make sense. Because I think you did at first what I would have done, which is like, you know, yes, no, no, yes, no, no. And why don't you say no to people? Like,
See, I do say no to, like, I started out just doing all swiping right.
Okay.
And now the only time that I do a bunch of swiping right is if, like, I just get aggravated. And I'm just like, fuck this. Like, there's chicks out there for right now. I don't want to have to put in time getting to know them or anything. Like, there's you know, people who are down to fool around. And then you just, and then, you know, see what you get back and then just shoot a
Just
message
saves
and
time.
play the
It's
field.
a
Yeah,
shot-
saves time.
It's a shotgun effect, and it's like once they message you, it's not like you're swiping right and now we're engaged. It's like I'm gonna swipe right on a whole crop of bitches, and then I'll sit back and watch TV. And after my phone's been going for a few minutes, I'll see what I've got. Oh, okay, Seinfeld's over. Now let me. Oh, nope, you're gone. You're gone.
so you're swiping left
look.
after the match, essentially.
Yeah, you get rid of. Yeah, I mean, test
just
the waters.
don't reach out.
You don't know what
because-
kind of night
yeah.
it's going to be. You know, tonight might be a fat chick night. Tonight might be a chick with a cleft palate.
But you, if I understand the sequence of events here, you swipe right, she gets notified you swipe right, she swipes right,
Yes.
and now there's a match. And then you say, oh, I should have never swiped right on Fatty, and you just get rid of her.
Exactly, because you're swiping right so fast that you're not even registering the
Is it
faces.
this-
You're
it's
just
flipped it, because normally it's the guy who puts himself out there and deals with all the rejection, right? Now it's the girl that does, because guys just reject them
It's a little
after
both.
you know
Well,
something.
it's a little different because like the best looking man on Tinder doesn't have as many matches as the ugliest woman on Tinder. That's a law of the internet. And Like it's true. Like, and so when you
I suspect
swipe
it's more
right
of a rule
on
of thumb. Like
when you swipe right on, say, a hot chick, and then she swipes right on you, and it shows up, oh, they saw you matched and they matched with you. That means that you're already over the hump. She's looking through hundreds, if not thousands, of guys that have matched her, and she's very selectively picking the ones she wants. So just getting that swipe from a good-looking girl already shows she's interested enough in you, which is why, to Harley's point, there's no point at all in making the small talk and everything on there. Like, just try and meet in person as soon as possible and get it over to your cell phone instead of messaging on Tinder, because that makes it way more kind of official in a way, not as odd. And also the fact that she's messaging you, if you're messaging a girl on Tinder, every 8 seconds she's getting a notification from another guy who matched her. So you don't want the girl sitting there messaging on Tinder, you want her on text. Makes,
Yeah.
A lot of moving pieces.
There are. And it just occurred to me, like, see, in the real life dating that we did back in the day, the woman wasn't constantly getting other offers, right? I mean, she was. If she's a pretty girl, there's always guys out there, seeing what's up. But not quite Tinder, to the point where, like, during your conversation, there's 15 other opportunities.
Yep.
If she's not looking for opportunities in real life, the amount she gets is pretty limited.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes every girl think that they can get a Brad Pitt looking guy, because a Brad Pitt looking guy will swipe right on every kind of looking chick, doing the tactic that Kyle and I said of just swiping right as many as possible and seeing what happens. But
yeah,
I'm
it's
starting
a wonderful
to
fucking
turn
thing.
up my Tinder game again, and so we'll see if we have anything new in the
Yeah,
next couple.
Taylor, you're in a new place there, looking real nice.
Yeah,
I
it
like
does look good.
Thank
I
you.
like your new place. Yeah, you're in a great area there for pussy. There's just lots of young ladies there by the junior high. I think you're gonna it's gonna go bananas.
By the daycare and all
But
that.
you'd have
not
to wait
Tinder,
5
it's-
years.
Yeah, it's not Tinder, it's Nuggets.
Yeah. Nuggets.
Yeah.
That's the name of your horrible pedophilia app.
Child dating
that's
app.
so disgusting.
There is one for that. All right, look,
No,
there
there's-
is. It's not a Tinder, but there's like a social. And look, I'm not aware of what it's called. I don't even know, but I know it exists because I've heard about older guys who like get caught on it. There's like a teen social app, but the teens use it to hook up as well, and it's like 14 to like 16 or 17 or something like that. And so yeah, that would be Nuggets. You go in there, swipe right on all those little kids. They don't have car. Holy shit, you got a car? Yeah. All
Ta-
myself over here.
Taylor, you're done. You're moving. Is all your stuff in boxes right now?
I'm mostly unpacked. I'm kind of just going through like the long laundry and all that, and then a couple just decoration things that I need to do. But for the most part, it's, I'm not too concerned with the feng shui.
You're undecorated
so it doesn't
behind you
matter
though.
too
Like
much.
I was expecting you to like priority 1 put up some blue stuff. I don't know why. Maybe because that's all I see. It's higher on my perceived list of priorities for you. It's really critical that Taylor has blue stuff plastered on every flat surface, because the ones I see have it. I just assume that all the ones I don't are similarly filled with blues wallpaper or
You're
something
mostly
like that.
right, because I don't have all my blue stuff up yet. I still need to get my shadow box up, and then I want to buy nicer blues stuff because a couple of my banners were just old and not good looking anymore. And also I got rid of 100% of my posters because it got to be like,
A jersey. You want to frame jersey?
I'm old enough now that I shouldn't have posters.
You
for
should
It's
be
Always
getting into
Sunny
oil
shit on
paintings
my
at
wall.
this point.
Oil paintings, maybe like
oil
a
paintings
farmhouse.
of blues players.
Yes. Duh.
Yeah. But the move. So I had the worst possible experience with a moving company where on I guess Saturday I was moving, and so Friday, after having booked like a week prior, these fuckers called me and were like, "Hey, just confirming that appointment for your move tomorrow. We'll be there between 8 a.m. and 9:30." And I'm like, okay, yeah,
So far, so
earlier the
good.
better. I want to get this done as soon as possible because I've got people showing up later in the day at the new place to deliver my new bed or get the internet set up or power or whatever. So yeah, let's get this done early morning. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow morning. So I'm ready to go at 7:30 Saturday morning, like just almost like pacing around, just ready. Everything is unplugged. And so I have no entertainment other than my phone or a
Who's
book.
boxing it up? Is that part of their job?
No, everything is boxed up. Everything's ready to go. It's just a matter of moving the big furniture. I hate inconveniencing people with moving, and so I prefer just to hire people and get it done. And also, then there's no awkward situation if they drop and mess up your furniture, like a friend of yours, because then it's like, well, fuck, okay, well, I was gonna buy you pizza or whatever after this, but you just broke my couch, so get out. But,
Welcome to Fritos,ville.
yeah, you get
You've
fucking
been downgraded.
You
One
get
Jolly
pizza
Rancher.
flavored Pringles, you fuck. Enjoy. And so 9 comes around, and I get a call from them. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna be late. I'll call you in 45 minutes and give you an update." I'm like, "Okay." So 9:45 comes and goes. 10:30 rolls around. Haven't heard from them, and so I call again, and I'm like, "Hey, can you give me an ETA? I really need to get figured out because I have a lot of moving pieces. You're in the moving business. You know what it's like to move. Like you have a lot of moving pieces on the same day. And the most important aspect are the movers. And if you guys don't get it done, like I'm up shit creek." And he's like, "Okay, I'm really sorry about that." Or sorry, he didn't say I'm sorry. I'm injecting politeness in there. He said, "Well, I'll let you know as soon as it's available. I'll probably in the next 20 minutes, our crew will get back from their current job, and then I'll reach out to you and have them call and confirm." I'm like, "All right, just let me know." Noon comes around. I call again, very upset at this point. I'm like, "Hey, 3 hours late at best. When are you guys going to be here? Because I've already missed an appointment. I've had to call a family member to go to my new place to meet up with the furniture people who were on time and the internet guy who was on time. So there's a family member being inconvenienced over there right now. Please don't lead me on. Just tell me, when will you be here? Like, I need to make a plan." And he's like, "Honestly, it's going to be another hour." I'm like, fine. So I guess 1 o'clock. I'll see you here. He's like, "All right, yeah, I'll have him call you as soon as that happens." 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock shows up. I'm on the phone with my mom, who's over at my new place, going like, "Oh yeah, the furniture people, they got your bed all set up. They got everything. Like your internet's all good. You got great place for your TV. Are the movers over at your old place yet?" And I'm like, No, they're not. And the movers who brought my bed here overheard my mom talking to me on the phone, and they go, "Oh, is he using XYZ company?" And my mom's like, yeah, I think he is." And they go, "They're not going to show up. They're not going to show up. They basically do this thing where they get way too much business over the weekend and their company's too small, so then they have to hire moving teams from other companies that aren't working over the weekend to try and fill that workload." And my mom relayed this to me. I was livid, obviously. And so I just was like, "All right, if they haven't met up with me by the time those guys are done at my new place, just send them over here. I'll pay them a premium. We got to get this done." And so they finished up. I ordered the new movers. They come over. Couple of just all-star gentlemen. Wonderful. I was
White
so
guys?
happy to have them start. What?
White guys, black guys.
One white guy, one black guy.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Now I know.
That's a
They-
dream
right.
team right there.
They showed
The
up.
white guy will
got
make sure
to
the black guy doesn't steal anything. The black guy, he'll lift the heavy stuff. You gotta fuck it. I got some flooring put in today. White guy and a black guy. I knew they'd keep each other straight.
The white guy was actually the bigger one. He had like those mover hands where like watching him pick stuff up was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ. Like that's a Brock Lesnar sized hand on a guy like 2 inches shorter than me. This guy clearly has been picking things up for a while." And then I just called the old mover place, threw a bit of a tiff, and was just like, "I paid $100 deposit for you guys to be here." At this point, by the time the new movers got to my place and we started moving, it was 3:45.
And now you're ready to talk
3:45 in the
trash
afternoon.
because you have a backup plan, right? I could tell you were sort of holding back the true feelings through the most of this story. Like, all right, hey, you know what? I can work with you. Just tell me when you can be here, because they had you over a barrel. Now they don't.
Because you can't. rip on them too much before they come move your
Or
stuff.
they'll fire
because
you
they
as
can
a
always-
customer.
Yeah, they'll fire you as a customer, or they'll just, do whatever they fucking do. And I was just so upset at this guy, like on the phone, being like, "Hey, you guys are 6.5 hours late, at best 7.5 hours late if you came at the time early when you said you'd be able to get there because I booked it a week early. So I'm canceling this, and I want my deposit back immediately." And they're like, "Sir, we'll be there in just like 45 minutes." I'm like, "No, that ship has sailed, sir. Like, I know you're probably not the guy, the dispatcher, or doing this, but this is unacceptable. Unacceptable to make a paying customer who you were going to charge $100 an hour wait for 6 hours. Like, no, absolutely not. And I wanted to do a thing where I was like, you know what? I'm on a pretty successful podcast. Wouldn't that be a fucking shame if I gave the name of your company out and your Google reviews were ruined? Wouldn't that be horrible? Well, you're a small-time company. You'd have to get a Google agent on the phone, wouldn't you? A Google rep. You know how long that's going to take you?
Good
A couple
luck
weeks because they
getting a
don't
human
care.
at
You know
Google.
what's going to happen then after you get a Google rep and you say you want to purge reviews that are clearly false? They're going to say, "We're not able to selectively purge reviews, sir. We'll have to purge them all." And then your ranking will sink even lower. Oh, no. That'd be a disaster, wouldn't it? That would crush you. Suddenly, college hunks moving junk will skyrocket in their popularity. No, that's the name of a company that I should have chosen because all their reviews were killer. I'm going to pick them next time.
Yep.
But God, that pissed me off. Like, it would be like me ordering brunch and then somebody bringing me a scrambled egg at 7:30 at night. Like, it's just.
I threatened my internet company with that same sort of threat once before. Like I went in and I just said it. I was like, we get about 10 million listeners a week. I just lied. Like, they're not gonna check. They're gonna check. It's just, and you can. She's in the back. She's like, "This guy's out here, and he says he's gonna talk bad about us on the radio." Yes. Well, we got to do something. He ain't had internet
On the
for 3
radio.
days. They're tethering their phones over there, Mike.
The people
anyway.
care. I got my daughter's car inspected today, and the business owner at the mechanics. I go to a small mechanic because there's like this implication, like you pass the car and I'll bring the next one. That's how we work here. So I bring it there. Like the 2 front tires are bald, and I'm like, yeah, I think these tires are. He's like, they're bad. You'll still pass. We're gonna pass it. I got her new tires, but anyway, he was telling me about the reviews. Like, yeah, 2% of people, they just complain. They write. I had to talk to some kid's dad to get the review fixed. And I was like, damn, I didn't know they cared, but they seem to.
Yeah, especially the restaurant business. Like because especially when I'm traveling. Like if you live in an area, then you just know. Like I know the shit places around me. The Wendy's near me is fucking dog shit. Like it's like not a full-time Wendy's cuz they're built onto a gas station. It's like a big truck stop gas station. It's one of those type restaurants, and it's a full service thing. It's not like they got half the menu or something, but they're just terrible at their jobs. Just really, really bad. They leave stuff out. It takes 3 times longer than a regular Wendy's, and I just know their shit. But when you're traveling, you don't know. So if I see 1 or 2 poor Yelp reviews, if there are 3, I'm not wasting my time with this. I'm just gonna keep on going. Look for somebody who's 4 or 5 stars.
Yep. Those reviews matter a lot, especially for a company like a moving company that's pretty much getting all of their acquisition, digitally.
So I feel. I was changing topics. I feel bad we didn't do the hockey pool. Is it too late? Do you have to do it at the start of the season?
No, we can do it anytime. No, it's week to week.
Yeah, it's week to week, so you can do it anytime you want.
That seems. Okay.
Yeah, we can do something like that. That would be fun. Ovechkin scored 7 goals in his first 2 games.
Best player in hockey, clearly.
Clearly, right now, he definitely is. Yeah, better than that whiny crybaby Sidney Crosby. I need to check and see what the reception is, because the Penguins went to the White House today, and of course, some people will be upset by that. But I can't imagine most of those players giving a fuck. Like a lot of them are just like Sven, whatever the hell, from Finland, and they're like, it's honestly just a lot of fun to be here, Like, I didn't ever think I'd even make it to play hockey in the USA, much less show up at the White House. I mean, come on.
I think he got gay mid-accent.
Yeah. I'd want to see, Trump shake hands with, Evgeny Malkin, one of the big Russians, and be like, oh, we've met a few times before. I remember this one. Just
You tell your uncle. You tell your uncle I'm coming through with those deals.
I have you. Yeah.
Dude, he already. I don't know. I try not to bring up politics all the time, but when I'm not watching PK, I follow it like super close. And I guess he's 10 days late now at implementing the sanctions that, like, by law he has to, because Congress and the House of Representatives, he signed it. Remember that? It passed 98-2 or something. Yeah, there's sanctions against Russia. But apparently there's something to be figured out in the sanctions. It's not straight up like you can't sell whatever wheat to Russia. It's more like you need to figure out which of these players should be sanctioned. And the White House just fucking hasn't done anything.
It's on him.
Yeah.
He's got his hands full, though, right? He's with Puerto Rico.
it's on the White.
The penguins over today.
It's on the executive branch to do something, like to figure something out. And it seems like they have no like just horsepower in that engine over there. You know, they can't really do anything. They just sort of fuck about and comment on shit, but they don't come up with, like, their tax plan is something that you just like whip up off of the top of your head. Their immigration plan, their healthcare plan is all like, you know what? I think everyone else should figure out what it is, and then we'll sign it after you figure it out. And somehow in the sanctions, the executive branch has to figure something out, and they haven't. It seems like they're just late on their homework. I don't know.
He didn't rape anybody. You never hear about Trump pulling it out.
Yes, you do. Trump has been accused of sexual assault 7 times.
Yeah, but his is always a cool sexual assault. I don't believe it. I don't believe any of that, any of his lies about Donald.
Now, why would you? Donald is a great guy.
Well, no, he gets himself a prostitute, right? Like he doesn't need to assault these women. He doesn't. He's more than willing and capable to go.
Apparently, Trump said regarding Mario Lemieux, you may have heard of him, Woody. He said during this thing today, he apparently said like, Mario Lemieux hits that ball so far.
Get out. Fun. My favorite thing about Mario Lemieux was a great player. He retired. He had like Hodgkin's lymphoma or something. He retired, got inducted into the Hall of Fame. They changed the rules. Like, you can't get in the Hall of Fame like the year after he retired. But with him, they decided to. I don't know if it was cancer related or what, but they were just so good. They're like immediate Hall of Fame. Then he unretired. So he was the only Hall of Famer in the NHL, right? Like, normally they're 40 or something when they get in there, but not Lemieux. And it's like, yeah, you know, he got a hat trick, and it's like, well, he should. He's a Hall of Famer. Like, there's no other Hall of Famers in the NHL.
They have rules like that. They're like, no, not till 10 years afterward can we induct you, just to make sure that your legacy holds up. But like for Gretzky and Lemieux, they're like, yeah, but like not really. Like, but these guys get in. You know.
Taylor, are you going to watch the football game this weekend when Missouri's playing UGA?
Oh, you mean when we get butt fucked? Yeah.
Butt fucked.
We are going to be. A buddy of mine is going to Athens to see the game. And of course, he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to get crushed. But it should be fun. It should be a fun time. Because obviously the Georgia fans are going to be happy and in good spirits, because they will win. The only way that Mizzou has any chance whatsoever is if it is a horrible delay, or not horrible, a horrible rain out, or the field is so shit that it somehow takes all talent and skill out of the match and replaces it with luck. Like, if nobody can hold on to the ball, if it starts hailing,
it's just mud and fog and hail all at once. You can't see downfield. The passing game's gone. Right?
So fucking funny though is if the Bulldogs season got ruined by an upset to Mizzou, like the worst team in the SEC East, or one of the worst teams in the SEC this year.
It's unfathomable. I can't imagine that even happening. The UGA is ranked 4th in the country now. Next year is going to be even better. They have 2 5-star QBs right now. They just signed the number 1 prospect in the entire country just signed to Georgia. So next year they'll have 3 5-star quarterbacks. Just outrageous depth at that position. It's just the bandwagon is in full-on mode. I'm like, as I said last week, I'm driving the bandwagon now, just whipping the horses. Got the reins in my hand.
Have you got any like brand spanking new UGA gear to wear?
I thought it would be funny if I did. I was on eBay the other night, and I was just like, what if I just got a full-on like suit? Like just UGA like head to toe, just cut, and I couldn't find all of their merch. Like it's not obvious that it's UGA. Like they don't stick their brand big. They've just got like a little G on it, and I didn't want that. It wasn't over the top enough to be funny, and that's the only reason I didn't pull the trigger. Like I wanted to be like covered with like and gaudy.
Bulldogs. You know,
Yeah.
that kind of, getting super psyched.
Speaking of bandwidth, and I normally don't get too excited, but NC State is having a year, right? So NC State is at a level where if they get ranked, it's kind of exciting. Like, oh, look, we're in the rankings. We're top 25, you know? Quick, recruit someone until we lose a game. You know, like that's usually how it goes. And there we were ranked 24th, and we were up against the number 17 team, Louisville. We have one loss already, so it's not like we're in like Georgia or something where you don't know how good this could be. Like, if you never lose, you don't know what you're like capable of because no one's tested you yet. But we already have a loss, and it was against some shitty team. Like I don't think I've never even heard of them. You look at them, you're like, you lost to William and Mary? No, William and Harry. Who even is that? Like, I don't even know them. And we lost one of those teams that it's supposed to be like an easy win in the first game or two. But we beat Louisville, and we went from 24 to like 20th or 19th or something. And like normally, like I've seen it so many times. We get ranked, we go against a fellow ranked team, and then we get exposed. But it worked the other way. We raised our ranking, and I'm like, how could this like? I'm looking at it, and I'm like, we don't have any more ranked teams this year. I'm like, is it possible we go like 11-1 this year or something wild like that?
What conference are they in?
ACC. Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're there, Clemson. Yeah. Oh, not looking good, my friend. Number 2 team in the country is Clemson.
Yeah,
Clemson.
Clemson's solid.
let me look at these.
All of the people from Clemson say Clemson, but it's Clemson.
Do they? Or
Yeah.
I guess my buddy who went to Clemson isn't from that area. There's
Yeah,
no
it's-
P.
There's not. It's Clemson. Clemson.
Is Louisville actually good this year?
They were 17th when we faced them, and I am wrong. We have Pitt coming up. I don't know if they're good this year, but they usually have a real team. Then we have Notre Dame, which it's not their best year. But then we have Clemson, Boston College. They're probably bad. But no, we've got a couple teams. We could very well lose 3 in a row coming up.
UGA has a pretty easy season so far. We the opponents we have faced that have been decent, like Tennessee, they beat Tennessee 41-0. They've outscored the rest of the SEC by 100 points in total. Like
Yeah, but
128
Mizzou
to
is
28.
0-3 in the SEC, so we're due for a win.
Yeah,
Mm.
3-3
Coming up.
over their record. They managed to beat up the teams they paid to come play them, so that's good. But it's
Georgia?
good. No, Mizzou.
No, we're 1-4.
Oh shit! I thought you were okay.
No,
That's-
Mizzou has been. This is our worst
I've
year
looked
in a
at this
long
matchup.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, Georgia and Mizzou are playing. Let's see how everyone is. Ooh. Well, yikes.
Mizzou
we
is having
beat,
an
we beat
uncharacteristic.
Missouri State 72-43 the first game of the season, and everybody was like, "Oh, we gave up 43 points to Missouri State. Well, we won. You know, maybe this will be one of those years where we just score a lot, and then they score a lot, and it's a battle. And then like the next game, we get like borderline shut out by South Carolina, and then we lost to Purdue 35-3. You know, that powerhouse Purdue, the
They have their
Boilermakers.
years.
No, yeah, no. And then of course Auburn bent us over a barrel. Kentucky did. Like we've got Georgia next. Georgia's going to be a thrashing. We've got Florida, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt and Arkansas, and I don't know if we're better than any of those teams this year.
If the over/under is 40, you know, Georgia beating Mizzou by 40, I think I take
that's
the over.
the spread, you mean?
Well, you could do it that way, but I was saying if the over/under was Georgia scoring 40 on them, I would go with over.
I'd take over.
I don't know
50.
any. Yeah, 50 may be a good call. I think Georgia scores 50 on Mizzou. The only bad thing about being Georgia is no matter how good you are, Alabama's there.
Yeah.
Just to win your conference, you still got to play against the fucking Crimson Tide. Those guys are no fucking joke. Like UGA runs the score up on people. They have been all year, just having a great time. Everybody except for Notre Dame, maybe, which they beat. But Alabama, teams disband after Alabama leaves. They're like, maybe let's try field hockey. You know, let's go in a different direction with this. Can any of you guys swim?
Dude, Alabama has been so good for so long, it's aggravating. Like my entire, or most of my college career, at least the second half, it was Alabama, rank one, every single year. Like it's exhausting. And it totally makes sense. You could take Alabama's second team and have a competitive SEC team.
The weird
that's
thing,
how good they are.
College football or college sports in general, like the better you are, the sooner you draft, right? Like imagine if like whoever wins the Super Bowl this year gets first choice at next players. That's how college football works.
Yeah,
better
we have
than
even
that.
more of the Patriots every year.
Because everybody's free agents and they don't get paid. Bullshit. I like that Georgia's having a good year this year and that guy signed with them because that bodes well for the future. You know, it's the rich get richer in college football. There's a big disparity between the best and the worst, a massive one. Like the worst college football teams they're at high school. I don't think that Alabama could beat the worst NFL team, but I bet there's some high school teams out there in Texas that could whoop up on some of these college teams that are just shit.
Like
some of these
D3.
college. Yeah.
It'd have to be D3. I think all the D1 teams beat Texas high school teams.
Oh yeah, no way any D1 school's losing to a high school team. Like they're just too big, too fast, too strong.
Yeah.
Like there's just in the same way that if Alabama played, who's the worst team in the NFL? Jacksonville, or are they not bad this year?
I don't know. I always just point to Cleveland.
Oh, okay. Well then,
usually you can do well
Cleveland,
there. I'll have to look it up.
Give something to Cleveland. Give them a little bit of fun getting to beat up on Alabama, and let's give Alabama a little dose of reality. You know, because there are Alabama fans out there and Auburn fans in particular that I've met who are like, oh yeah, like this year Alabama would have made a real game versus Jacksonville. This was like 2 years ago when Jacksonville was like one win on the entire season. And it's like, no, like not only would it not be a good game, half of the Alabama line would be injured 2 plays in. You know why? The biggest guy on that line is smaller than the smallest guy on the Jacksonville line. And that Jacksonville guy, you think he's just eating a lot of baked chicken every night? No, there's some more stuff going down. Like that guy could lift a Prius and throw it at the Alabama line if he wanted to. Like I would love to see an exhibition match of Alabama or Auburn or Clemson or Georgia, one of the top 5 ranked teams, just getting blown out.
Yeah, you don't ever hear about performance-enhancing drugs in the NFL because those guys are on horse testosterone.
Because they're so clean, they just can't catch anyone, right? That's it. No, that's not it.
It's like, we tested, and everyone's dirty. So it's either we shut down the whole league or we just let it fly. Oh, well, let it fly. Cool. Jerry Jones told the Cowboys, he owns them, that you either stand up for the anthem or you sit for the game.
The NFL is contemplating a rule for it.
Are the employers,
and that's Jerry Jones.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm stuck on of course we don't want like Black Lives Matter, for example, marching through the streets, breaking windows and shit like that. That's not fair. But to silently kneel and get some attention, it seems like you just don't want to hear him at all at some point because that's kind of low key, non-violent. You know,
kneel at halftime.
Well, it's definitely non-violent,
of
course, but it's like a matter of like business for a lot of these owners, where like a lot of their viewers are dropping out. I saw something today about the NFL having yet another of the worst Monday night ratings they've had in years, where they just sucked. And like, you shouldn't be able. The employers are the only ones whose business it is. Like if you go to your place of business as a player for the Patriots or the Cowboys or whatever, and the owner of that team, your boss says, no, we're not allowing this. You're at work. You can't do it. Then yeah, you have to obey that. You're at work. But like,
yeah, guaranteed the ratings don't go up when they stop kneeling. That's not the issue, in my opinion. I suspect the issue is cord cutting, is commercials. People just don't want to watch that style of show anymore.
It's concussions. It's the game getting worse. It's a lot of things. The game. It's a lot of things. Bill Burr talks about the breast cancer thing, where like 1% of the money went to breast cancer, and then they're sort of feminizing the game, and they're focusing on a bunch of bullshit that doesn't fucking matter. And what you really want to see is like a bunch of gargantuans going to war with each other and fucking hurting each other. I want to see brain damage. When I heard that there was permanent brain damage, I was like, wow, that's the sport for me. You think Dana White would put
watch.
up with that shit?
To watch.
Oh,
To watch.
for sure. Oh yeah, I mean, it's just like the military. I mean, I'll watch that shit on TV, but you're not getting me. No fucking way. No fucking way. Maybe if I get to pick and choose like who we're fighting, like if we're gonna do some like if I get to be in one of those like big $50 million tanks or whatever, and we're gonna go fight against some Russian tanks from the 70s, sign me up. I would love to do that. If I get to be in an Apache and we're like 2,000 meters away, hovering silently, and we're looking at those guys on forward, looking infrared, and just going, fuck yes, I've played this game before. Chopper gunner engaged. But there's no fucking way I want to go get on the ground and like shoot it out with some people.
Yeah,
Hell no.
as you get off of the Apache, you don't want, a 240-pound linebacker to blindside you and give you whiplash.
Did you guys get upset with Pence and his political stunt?
Nah.
I don't really care. Just like I don't really care that they do the kneeling at games either. Like I feel like 90% of people on this just want sports to be sports. Like that, like most people turn it on and they're like, oh my God, like whether they're liberal, conservative or not, they're like, just please, this is where I come to not think about those things. This is the little escapism we have, and you got to inject it into this too.
I saw some meme or online conversation or something where they were like, I never expected in our nation's national divorce for the liberals to get football. And the guy's like, well, they've got all the best lawyers. That's how that went down. Like, yeah, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think eventually it'll just go back to normal. Everybody will stop kneeling and it'll move on, I would think.
Or people will stop caring. If they just didn't televise the kneeling, that might be a thing. They could show the fucking fireworks and the flag instead, and no one, take the eyes off it.
Fake news. No, they're
Fake news.
They're gonna keep it up, and I want the NFL to die. I want it to die. I hate it so much. I hate it so much for so many different reasons. It's dying. It's not doing as well. I remember like 5 years ago, they were talking about how I think NASCAR is the biggest like spectator sport, meaning people attending the things. But they were talking about just how massive NFL was on television, and how it just crushed baseball and anything else there was. And I'm glad to see it slipping. I'd love to see. I know baseball is kind of a boring game. I'd love to see a return to baseball. I'd like to see baseball slide in and be like the American sport. Like they should have a big baseball promo where like everybody's saluting the flag and fucking fighter jets flying overhead, and they find that one like Puerto Rican guy who's kneeling, and they just beat the dog shit out of him. Go play some football, you piece of shit. You're not a real American.
Football's more American than baseball. Am I crazy? Am I the only one who thinks that? Because they don't even play football elsewhere.
I think they're both pretty American.
They are. I'll give you that. But like there are other like Dominican Republic has tons of players coming from there.
Cuba, yeah.
Cuba has a bunch of baseball players. Japan has a bunch of baseball players. I know, but it's still becoming an international game. American football, on the other hand, no one even plays that. Like you couldn't get football pads at Dick's in France. Like they won't stock that shit.
Yeah, probably not. Like what's a European sports store like? Where's the soccer section? Oh, it is the entire store. Over there we have the balls and then the shoes.
They seem to kick our ass at golf too. That's it. Every Ryder Cup the Europeans win. I'm like, what's up? Like, I don't get, like, look, I don't pay any attention to golf. But when it becomes America versus someone else, I'm like, obviously, let's go, Team USA. And we lose the Ryder Cup, like, again and again. I haven't looked, for all I know, we're on a winning streak now. But every time I've seen it, we lose the Ryder Cup. Like, how the fuck is America not the best at golf?
Because the black guy lost his goddamn mind. That's how.
Be baseball that became the next most popular if the NFL died. I bet it would be college football. I bet that would be the next biggest.
College football is so massive. College football is wonderful because
so much more effort
the money's not there. The guys are still young. You don't have to there's no sad stories really about that's old Johnny.
The teams are always morphing and changing because it's only a few years with each player.
Very dynamic. So
here's the thing with college football, in my opinion. Your team can't win, right? I know Kyle's team's winning right now, but most people are from a place where your football team isn't going to have their turn. The Hurricanes and the Flyers both win Stanley Cups every now and then. My apologies to Blues fans. But your team can win. Your team can contest. Blues fans get President's Cups. That's a thing. But when you go to NC State, I'll die and they'll never win the championship.
Probably so.
I don't have enough years in me for that change.
They won't even win the ACC championship because Clemson is cemented in there as a powerhouse now. Like that, it's the rich get richer. And to be fair, Clemson clawed their way up that ladder.
Clemson was good in the 80s and then dropped in the early 2000s or something, and now they're back.
Remember I listened to a ton of Clemson sports radio because it was I don't know, maybe starting with about 6 years ago. I listened to it for about 3 years, something like that. And I remember when they hired Dabo Sweeney, they were doing really poorly. And Walt Deptula, the local sports guys, this guy's got it figured out. You just watch. A few years from now, we're gonna have it all figured out. And Jesus Christ, they didn't win I think they won the national championship. Yeah, I'm almost positive they won last year.
Yeah, outrageous. But that won't happen at NC State.
No, it won't happen there. No.
That is a good point about college football, though, where if you're a fan of
Purdue.
God, what was the name of that team from 2 years ago? Northwest Illinois University or something, where they were 11-0 or whatever because they're in the MAC-12 or something, and even then, they get put in a bowl game and they get shithoused because they're just not playing against. Yeah, maybe
they played Hawaii. Yeah,
that might be right. And so even then, it's you can have your hopes up all year where you're 10-0, 11-0, 12-0, and then you show up against a real team and it's oh man, we had the game set to very easy the whole time. You can't play the bowl game on anything less than standard. Yeah.
They had a perfect season, but they were still only ranked 4th or 5th or something like that. And all their fans were just losing their shit. And they're well, let's see how you do against Hawaii. And Hawaii beats them, of course.
It's a good thing for Georgia that there's playoffs now. Because Georgia might be having to hope someone in front of them loses if it was just the top 2 teams. They might not be ranked top 2 if they win out.
Yeah, I don't know very much about how the playoff system works. I'd like to win the SEC championship. Let's start there. It'd be nice to win the SEC because if you can't win to your division, it seems weird if you're the national champion to me. And you can't win the division without beating Alabama.
Mizzou made it to the SEC championship in 2013 and 2014. And we got beat only a little bit by Auburn in 2013. And then the dream was shattered in 2014 when we played Alabama. And we were hey, maybe, people got to topple eventually. And then, halfway through the game, it's this is not the time. they are going to regain this championship. They're annoyingly good.
Not to compare me to these great teams, but in swimming, right? We were good. My high school, I just didn't start swimming till my senior year. And, we were very excited. I think we were undefeated till late in the season. We went up against this team, Vineland, and they had a 17-year winning streak. Not against us, against everybody. They hadn't lost a swim meet in 17 years. And it was maybe, look, we're good this year. And we were good. We had some guys finish top 6 in the state and stuff. And we didn't beat Vineland. No, they just
was there any
by halfway through the meet, it was and now it's mathematically impossible.
We played one of the best female teams in the Midwest, 18 and under, when we were 14 and under, because you obviously play girls that are much older. And I remember going into it it's going to be so embarrassing if a girl scores on me. And then that fear disappeared the second I faced the first shot. And I'm that was probably just a bad shot. She probably didn't get that much on it, and then pass it back out. And then the next one, she's coming in for a breakaway. She's got it my defenseman caught her. Guess not. Okay. And at the end of the game, it was 9-0 or something ridiculous like that. How disheartening is that as an 18-year-old girl to go out there against a bunch of 14-year-olds? All the guys who are they're skating over to hit you, and then the coach will be Steve, no hitting. He's oh fuck, shit. You can't hit girls. And that was eye-opening.
When you're facing that when you're facing that swim team, the undefeated swim team, is there any inclination to somehow cheat or more importantly to sabotage them? Is there ever any thought to man, if we could get some X-Lax brownies into these guys or if we could dose them with LSD before the game or something, like they'd be fucking ruined and will be the champions of the world.
What did happen was this. So in swimming, you shave down and you cut a little time off, right? Just by not being hairy and like full of drag. And our coach gave us like a speech. He's like, you know what? This is always our last meet of the season. And typically at this point in the year, we roll over and be like, hey, let's look forward to state, see if we can make some noise there. Because we can't beat these guys. But this year we don't roll over. I want everyone shaving down for this meet. We're going to surprise them and, show up and because in swimming, it's weird in that really it's the last meet of the season that counts. Like in football, all the other games, every game counts. In swimming, they will just break you down. It doesn't matter if you're tired or exhausted. It doesn't even really matter if you lose mid-season. It's all about that one best race at the end. Your whole season is geared for that last race. And we were like, we're going to treat Violin like we're going to have 2 last races this year. And we all shave down. We all show up in like a special fabric swimsuit, these paper suits. They're a little smaller. And we still got our asses kicked. But they showed up
after all that shaving.
They fucking looked like some of the guys they were like Italians with like gorilla hair, and like their leg hairs weren't just hairy; they were hairy and curly. And I'm like, maybe, no, monsters.
Do they get that thing where like you pull your arm out of the pool and there's just like a sheet of hair that like hangs off? Robin Williams arm.
I think I've told this story before, swimming stories, but it was the our female team in college. We had this one girl, Connie Wasserberg. She was amazing, incredible as a swimmer. She went All-American all 4 years. She's Puerto Rican, I think.
Jewish.
I forget.
Wasserberg is Puerto Rican?
Oy vey.
I don't know. I could have fucked up her name, but she was Brazilian or something. And anyway, she was incredibly good. And we were up against this team. They were huge rivals on the girls' side. And it came down to the last race, which was a relay race. And like Connie was injured, so she didn't swim all season long. She was just there. Her arm was like in a sling and everything. But she could swim. She was a monster. And she didn't do any races, and it's tied. And she's like, put me in, coach. And he's like, what? Like, how can we do that? And she's like, I can do this. I know I can do it. And anyway, she swims the anchor leg. It's like 400 free or something. So everyone goes 4 laps. And every other lap, she swam with one arm. So she swam 2 arms out there blazing it, and then she'd rest it and swim back with one arm. And she fucking narrowed the distance and won the whole meet for everyone. Just like a magic trick. She could beat these women with one arm. And
that's impressive.
Good for Wasserberg.
Yeah, and then she ended
definitely
up like,
wasn't her name.
I forget. Yeah, she was dark skinned and she grew no hair, so she never shaved down for meets or anything. She was afraid that if she shaved her legs, that she'd have a lifetime of having to shave her legs because it was like almost like you're like. I can't think. Like it probably like your back, Kyle, right? On your back, you don't really have hair, but if you were to look under a magnifying glass, there might be some tiny little fuzz of a hair. That's all she grew on her legs.
Yeah, I still don't like that. She just no hair at all on women. Did you see that model who I guess she posed with the hairy legs and she started getting rape threats?
Really?
Like people who were offended by her hairy legs in her modeling picture. That doesn't make sense to me.
Do you know her name? I want to see these pictures.
They're disgusting.
They're that bad?
About the whole rape threat thing.
Yeah, they're
all the
hairy
time
like a
on the
man's
internet.
face.
I've never what does that mean?
I
Does that mean people are tweeting at them like I'm gonna rape you?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that common? I haven't seen that.
No, I've never seen that. I've received rape threats, but usually in a video game,
It's hairier than I thought.
Yeah,
No, I actually don't think I've seen many like women with leg hair.
On natural.
Yeah, and I expected it to be really kind of mild, like not there.
It's legit.
No, yeah, she looks like she's a high school boy or something.
Yeah. I think that she and I have a very small. I got it's a pretty similar level of hair.
I'm hairier, but if I were to see a guy with that leg hair, I wouldn't think that she was off the pace or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's disgusting. I wouldn't threaten to rape her though. I mean, quite
No.
the opposite. Like
Yeah, right.
you know,
You know what?
it's-
I'm gonna pass you over. Take that.
yeah, my insult would be if I were cruel and trying to like, for some reason, attack a model online. Would be like, I wouldn't fuck you in a million years, you Chewbacca-looking bitch. What's your problem? Like, come on, apply some social norms. You think I enjoy slapping on deodorant every morning? I just do because it's what makes me acceptable to the rest of the
Yeah,
world.
brushing your teeth isn't fun, but
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't enjoy wiping my ass. I'd like to just poop and go. But you know,
Yeah.
All right. Maybe some of these hygiene things are actually pleasurable too, because you
I
don't want to
guess
walk
so.
around with shit ass.
yeah.
I'm with the I was it Kyle or Taylor, but like these rape threats, I want to see them. I want to know how viable they are. Like, did someone make a threatening YouTube video directed at her, like while driving his car, saying he's going to rape her? Because that's like
He's
a
got,
level
like, a
of
picture
intensity
of her face,
that.
sticking his cock through the mouth.
Yeah, but that is like, oh my god, she is getting rape threats. This is crazy. That person's crazy. But if it's like, dude, I get rape threats for winning at Call of Duty, you know, like that level of rape threat, then it's like, that's just the internet. Would you settle down?
Yeah, I you know, it's a woman too, so it's a very different threat because like it takes quite a man to actually rape you. Like Brock Lesnar, you know, like Joe Rogan's joke, he could throw a raping right on you. You
Right,
know,
yeah, Rogan's joke is he would use me as a condom to rape somebody else.
that's good. All right, we probably call the show there. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Go check out Nuggets, the new dating app, and read your books, kids. You don't want a bunch of monsoons on
You don't want cardio. All right, PKN episode 164.